The trial is finally underway for the man charged with killing Washington Redskins star Sean Taylor 6 years after the crime. Taylor was shot during a botched burglary of his Miami home back in 2007. ABC's Gio Benitez is tracking the case, and he joins us now. Good morning, Gio.
Good morning to you, George. Taylor's death shocked the nation. He left behind a girlfriend and their daughter, who at the time was just 18 months old. This morning, the accused murderer is on trial. On his first day of trial, the alleged killer of NFL star Sean Taylor makes a stunning allegation that his confession was coerced. It's now the key question for jurors.
That was Sean Taylor.
Taylor was a safety for the Washington Redskins, but one November night in 2007, the 24-year-old was killed in his Miami home. Now, with accused gunman Eric Rivera in court, Taylor's girlfriend emotionally remembers.
Sean woke me up and told me he had heard a noise and to call the police.
Jackie Garcia, niece of actor Andy Garcia, says Taylor grabbed a machete by the bed and an intruder kicked open the bedroom door.
I heard a really loud noise, very similar to a gunshot, and a scream. I got up and I saw Sean laying face down, surrounded by blood.
Police say Taylor, shot in the leg, was bleeding to death. Garcia says she never saw the shooter. But prosecutors say 23-year-old Rivera confessed to the killing. Investigators say it was a botched burglary, that Rivera and 4 friends thought the house was empty and they were looking to steal money.
Sean Taylor, defending himself, defending his family, defending his home, is shot by this defendant.
In court, prosecutors showed jurors casts of what they say are Rivera's footprints from inside the house. They say Rivera, who's pleaded not guilty, drew diagrams of the house for investigators and told them he tossed the gun into the Florida Everglades.
He began to tell the police the entire plan.
Rivera's defense attorney says the videotaped confession was coerced.
The detectives were under such pressure to close this investigation that they forced my client to confess to this crime.
Rivera is charged with first-degree murder, but he was 17 at the time, so he won't face the death penalty. Only one of the alleged accomplices has pleaded guilty, and experts say he may testify against Rivera, George.
That would be tough. Okay, Gio, thanks very much. Let's get Dan Abrams back for more on this. And Dan, that videotape confession, tough to fight.
Yeah, well, look, generally what you want to do is you want to try and get a videotape confession like this excluded before the trial. And his attorneys almost certainly did that. They lost. And so now the confession comes in, and it's much harder to say to a jury, don't believe what you saw.
Once they hear it.
Yeah, don't believe him confessing. You want a judge to say, this is inadmissible, there are legal rules here that apply, we're not going to have the jury see this. Once the jury sees it, a lawyer arguing he was coerced, you shouldn't believe it. Very hard argument.
And we just heard Gio say one of the accomplices may testify against him. Lots of other evidence, too.
Right, you've got cell phone data linking him to the neighborhood. You've got that footprint matching the exact shoe that he was wearing, and you've got the testimony of a fellow co-conspirator, effectively, who has pled out. So you got a lot of pieces here. This is tough defense.
Weighed against all that, it doesn't appear to be a lot of premeditation here, and he was very young, 17.
And that's the key to the argument, right? Which is maybe ordinarily you can't believe it, but this kid was 17. That's why he was coerced. That's why you can believe that he wasn't of sound mind, in effect, when he made this confession, when he did this, etc. But still, that's only going to get you a little bit, meaning that's the kind of argument that may help you more in sentencing than it's going to in the guilt or innocence phase.
And is there still a possibility that as the trial goes on, he could figure out a way to plea out?
Sure, you could, but you would think that that's the sort of thing generally it happens before. Sometimes it happens during the trial, particularly if one side or the other is doing particularly well or badly. But now that it's going to trial, this is not a case where they're going to offer a very good deal. And as a result, that's probably why he's willing to sort of risk it on going to trial.